Bitcoin absolutely pumping, breaking out, hit $91,000. What level, what target should we be watching to make sure we do not get caught in a bull trap? Is there even going to be a bull trap? Altcoins are also waking up, seeing some absolutely incredible pumpage going on right now. Everybody get this retweeted out. I'm getting this shared over on @Academy BitLab. This is live on X. This is also live on Rumble. And hey, everybody, I hope you're feeling well because these markets are about to absolutely rip the face off the bears. Bitcoin TA, altcoin TA, crypto TA signals critical levels that we need to be watching. Now, everybody, I hope your bags are packed because it's about to get really exciting. Let's go.
Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. SEC and its policies rely on whatever Gary thinks. Bitcoin's a flight to quality. I heard that from Larry Fink. Every hour losing purchasing power on foolish out there. It's not our fault. Blame the cult. It's the political cowards. When it comes to gas, our purchasing power just got cut in half. I sit back and laugh, open my bag, fill it with stacks and sats. Bitcoin, pumping, altcoins, pumping. I've been preparing for this. Can't tell me nothing.
And I believe crypto will play that type of role as a flight to quality. We are hearing from clients around the world.
Bitcoin, pumping, altcoins, pumping. I've been preparing for this.
And I believe crypto will play that type of role as
Bitcoin, pumping, altcoin, pumping.
we are hearing from clients around the world.
Can't nobody tell me nothing.
Crypto, depending on how you think about it. And I believe crypto will play that type of role as a
Can't nobody
flight to
tell me
quality.
nothing. Bitcoin, pumping.
We are hearing from clients around the world.
Prepare for this.
Are you ready to dive into it, everybody? We got to talk about it. $100,000 Bitcoin is going to be here before we know it. We are live on Rumble. We are live on X. We are live on YouTube. If you are here, if you're awake, if your fingers work, I want to see them typing on this live chat, whichever medium that you are watching this. But let's dive in. Let's go. Bitcoin, crypto markets, absolutely waking up. How are you all doing? When we look at this just at first glance, what do we see? We see Bitcoin breaking out of a couple critical areas, and that is this descending resistance trend line. Also, all three of these moving averages now, and yes, that includes the 200-day moving average, but we are at a critical place in price action regarding what the gateway is going to be, which is this bar, this price action zone right here of all these previous lows. You can see the bounce, 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 rejection. We're coming right into that zone right now. This is going to be the gateway. I want you to be a little bit cautious here because as bullish as I am, we have to be a little bit cautious of a potential rejection here and a small retest back to the downside, whether we slice through this first and then test on this zone or actually get rejected here. This is exactly what we've been pointing out on this, basically this drawing that I've done here, projecting what I think might happen. If we do get rejected here, it's not the end of the world. If we get a rejection, we want to look for a higher low that is established. If that's the case, then that's going to be great. If we slice through this and come back and test, I mean, that just signals how much bullishness is in the charts, it is in the market. But we've got some critical things that we have to talk about today. And we have got an incredible new partnership with Rumble, which we are live over on Rumble. The stream that we did yesterday had almost 50,000 people watch it. I think it was about 30,000 had tuned in about 20 minutes after we had finished the stream. And overnight, that is more than doubled. It's right at about 50,000 people that had tuned in. So shout out to anybody Rumble. But that's not the only partnerships. There's partnerships that are brewing in my life, and I could not be more excited about that. And I got the butterflies for it. So this is for you, talking about what's going on in this market. Let's go through the signs. Let's go through the signals because it's about the data. It's not about the price. It's about what is the truth that we're looking at. Not just are we excited prices up or down? What does that look like relative to the data that we are looking at? In this case, look at this 2.78. Let's see if this is higher. Refresh the page. $2.84 trillion market cap that we're seeing right now in the entire crypto ecosystem. We're seeing the Bitcoin dominance at 63.5%. Let's actually look at that really quick. BTC.D. This is how much of that $2.84 trillion total market cap, meaning how much money is in there, like with the valuations, and how much money is in this entire crypto ecosystem. 64.4%. 64.4% of that $2.84 trillion. And the entire crypto market cap is in Bitcoin. This is important for any of you that have not been paying attention. This is important because what this means is if this were to break down at some time in the near future, like we have seen in previous cycles, if we kind of double click on this, these breakdowns in this metric right here, the breakdown in dominance reflects absolute pumpage and breakout season, alt season that so many people are waiting on. We have an entirely different dynamic in this market cycle now because of the institutional and government focus on Bitcoin and stacking that is leading a lot of liquidity focus in Bitcoin. As we see this right now, we did clearly break out of this descending trend line on the Bitcoin dominance. We have also retested it and pushed back up. And this has been, I mean, if we measure this from the bottom all the way over here, I'm measuring the days there, 294 bars. That is 880 days of an uptrend here. But this is starting to sort of weaken a little bit. And in this case right here, this represented massive pumps in the altcoin market. At some point, this will break down again. The question is going to be when. Because when we look over here, we look at the others chart, this has been in a descending structure, which has been basically all of your altcoin portfolios absolutely bleeding. But this is starting to look like we're getting a little bit of a rounding bottom. The momentum to the downside, the bearish momentum is weakening. That's what these rounding bottoms represent. So if the bearish momentum is weakening, then you can also conclude that that means the bullish momentum is starting, or the strength is starting to pick up some steam. So in the event that we do see these lower low, we also see a flattening of the strength down here. The RSI, Relative Strength Index, has bottomed out, thus giving us a bullish divergence on the others chart. This is what I'm pointing to right here. These lower lows, see this low, this gets lower. The RSI is showing a slightly higher low, which we're starting to see reflected in the price action. This is an index of all those altcoins outside of the top 10. This is showing that, you know, it's a beautiful setup for potential max pumpage in the altcoins that we are holding. So I just want to shout out real quick as everybody tunes in here. I hope you're all feeling well. I hope you're feeling grateful. I hope for those of you that have been stacking, I hope you realize that there's been signals along the way that have reflected that there was such a high likelihood that we are going to get this pump. This did not come out of the blue. How could you catch it? TA is just, it's just brostrology. It's just lines on charts. Well, maybe if you're doing it incorrectly, maybe if you're only looking at lines. When you look at lines on charts, in this case, we're looking at patterns. We look at this in conjunction with other data points, whether it's strength, whether it's liquidity flows, whether it's going on with the different size wallets that are stacking or selling. We have a great indication of what is going on in this market when you pull together all these different ingredients so that you can forecast the shift in trends. And that's what this is all about. So shout out to everybody that has been stacking. I'm curious right now, as you roll in, we're just about getting a couple hundred people rolling in on YouTube. We've got about almost 1,000 people over on X, and I know we're going to have quite a few people over on Rumble. So far, let's see. Let me repost it. Let me refresh this page. I'm sure that is different. Oh, we got five people. Okay, well, 5 people on Rumble today. That's okay. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more people, but we're across the board on a number of different channels here. So shout out to everybody that is tuned in. Yeah, we got about 266 on YouTube. How many do we have? We got 871 currently on X. We just started the show. So let's get into it because we got some big news this morning. US said India has finalized the terms for a trade deal. There's obviously a massive impact on what we think the weight is going to be, the pressures we're going to see on the markets. So this is alleviating some of that tension. And is this going to start the trend of other trade deals coming to the table that are going to basically soften the tariffs? Again, were the tariffs even the point? That's what most people don't get. Were the tariffs really the point, or was that the negotiating stick to bring people to the table so we can get better trade deals and eventually actually probably lower tariffs across the board? We'll have to see what's going to happen, but this absolutely jolted the market. And then we look at these signals that we were talking about. Was there something that said that there's a high likelihood we are going to get this Bitcoin bounce? Look at this right here. I shared this on April 7th. This is the peak in the VIX indicator. We can see this right here. These yellow circles, massive peak in the VIX. And I shared right here, Bitcoin has seen massive reversals following these large VIX peaks. What the hell is a VIX? Volatility index. On the stock market, this is one of those great examples of how these different global markets all work together, or they have impact on each other. So we can see the last time this peaked, this is a current peak. The last time this peak here, it signaled when we started getting this bottoming structure before we had 107% move to the upside. Similarly, this peaked right leading into this massive move right here. Similarly, we had this move here, and this peaked before we got that bottoming structure before this entire bull market started. So I shared this. Hey, you might want to start looking for signals. And then beyond that signal, what did we see? We also saw the next day, I pointed this, April 8th. Make sure you're following me here over at Kelly Kellam, Kelly Kellam. Make sure you are following so you can get all the data that you need to stay as close to on trend as possible. Because I shared that. The 7th, the setup was there for a possible reversal looking at the VIX, but we don't use one signal. Then we looked at this massive Bitcoin bullish divergence that I shared on the 8th. Talking about this doesn't mean that this is a full reversal, but the ingredients were starting to stack up. And then we look at what we're seeing in relationship to previous price action patterns on different assets in different timeframes. And also the number one signal that you need to pay attention to of if you're going to go into a risk on environment or if it's going to be risk off, AKA, do people want to deploy money to speculate or are they trying to move to safety? And that is looking at the global M2. How much money is being pumped into markets or how much money is being withdrawn from markets. And so on this chart right here, we're seeing the global M2. We're also seeing the gold ETF from launch forward, and then also Bitcoin. And we're seeing a very similar trajectory on all of these. And look at where Bitcoin is right here. So my question to you is Bitcoin preparing to break down based on the stacking of bullish signals of the underlying strength, the liquidity, and how cycles have played out with other assets? Right now, we just hit what a lot of people are thinking is possibly that max fear zone. And in max fear zones, what do you do? In max fear zones, I have a chart for you right here. Bitcoin at extreme fear has been incredible buy opportunities. This is just looking at fear. If you want to get out of being absolutely subjugated and becoming a slave to your emotions in which you are just giving your capital away because you are acting on emotion, reacting, whether you're in relationship with somebody, whether you're in a relationship with wanting to make a damn dollar, you have to respond, not react. You have to have a strategy. And in this case, when this is dipped into this peak fear, this is extreme state of panic, these have all been excellent times to buy. So when we come back over here, we had the bullish divergence. We had the VIX also showing that we had a likelihood for a buy setup. So then we stack further. We see other data here also showing the global M2 is just ripping to the upside, which I do think Bitcoin is going to follow, similar to what we just have been recently seeing in gold. And then we also, this is it. I mean, I shared this on the 15th. I was giving you the data before this, as the setup was building before these moves. I mean, look at the price action. See here, it's already starting to break out. When we look back over here, this hadn't even made it up to the top of this range. I've been giving you the data. I hope you've been acting on it. I'm curious, what have you been stacking into the last two weeks? The last two purchases you made, let me know in the live chat. I want to see what you guys have had your eyeballs on. And it can be anything. It might not be Bitcoin. It might not be ETH. It might not be Arrow or Ondo or Cardano or Avalanche or BitTensor or, could be, there's so many different assets out here. And I'm not going to berate anybody for having one asset or another, but there's so many different assets and everybody has different things that sort of excites them, that keeps their interest, that makes them want to, just excites them in this market. Whatever you're doing, I just hope it's working for you. Then we take it another step further. What do we got? Let's go. We looked at that. Oops. Smart money has stopped selling. Smart money has actually been buying. We saw the data that I broke out yesterday about that massive increase, not only in the last couple of weeks, but the insane amount of smart money, whale money stacking into Bitcoin over the last year. And even in this last recent dip, there was a little bit of a pause. Then as we got to those levels at 74, 75, 77, we saw a massive influx to the upside of whale wallets buying. But on this chart, this is value days destroyed. What is a value day? A value day is if you buy one Bitcoin from me and you hold it till tomorrow, that is one value day. If you bought 2 Bitcoin from me yesterday, then by today, that is 2 value days. So how many days has Bitcoin been bought and held since it was moved? Now, when you destroy, AKA if I sell in 2 days, if I sell my 2 Bitcoin, I'm destroying 2 value days. So the point here is without being convoluted, what this metric shows you is when you have coins being sold, you see this large peak? When you have these large peaks here before the top of this price action, before you hit the market cycle top, this was indicating to you that there's a lot of coins that were being sold that have been held for a long time. Why is that important? Because if you have strong hands selling, they tend to sell into the strength of a market trend and they buy at the bottoms. So when you have no strong hand selling, these show strong accumulation zones, because as these short-term holders are buying and selling coins, it doesn't mean there's not a lot of coins being sold. It means there's a lot of coins that are being sold by paper hands. So look at that flashing into the green zone right here, just after we've already stacked the deck with all those other bullish signals that we had just highlighted that have been stacking up over the last few weeks. When everybody was panicking, what were we doing here on BitLab Academy? Here on BitLab Academy, again, if this is your first time here, welcome to the show. My name's Kellam. I try to break down data-based analysis on these markets and also show you how to navigate buying and selling and organizing your portfolio. And we're going to be integrating a lot of DeFi. In fact, we have DeFi Crypto Airdrops channel here now where we're going to be integrating him on the channel. I'll be going over on his channel as well. But there's so many different aspects to this market. I want to make sure that you dominate navigating these trends and stop being such a slave to the price, hope, or fear. Recognize those things, but use that to your advantage as a strategy mechanism, not oh shit, I'm scared, I'm going to sell. No, man. If you're scared, a lot of people are scared. You want to set up the data points to substantiate the moves you're making versus you reacting to things in the market. So we're seeing the data stacking up, everybody. Again, shout out if you are here, make sure you're following us. If you're watching on Rumble, make sure you're hitting that follow button, hitting that like button. If you're watching over on X, make sure you're hitting this like button, retweeting this out. If we get this over 45 retweets today, we will do a $100 giveaway. We will do a $100 giveaway tomorrow. Let me see what you guys, if you guys got that yesterday, because I might be doing a giveaway today. Only 21. So we're not doing a giveaway from yesterday's. Let's see if we can get it over 45 retweets. And that's over on my page at Kellam right here. Just make sure you scroll down a little bit. Just hit that retweet, hit the like button. You have to do both. We'll randomly draw tomorrow. If this stream, I want to give people time if they watch this later. So hit that retweet and we'll do a $100 giveaway tomorrow. And we'll randomly draw somebody that is participating there. Now, what else we got? We have so much good data today, guys. A glorious Bitcoin pump is coming. This was Discover Crypto yesterday before this major move, after we've already started to move. And I would say right now, when we are looking at this chart, we're looking at Bitcoin. This feels good. This is only the start of what's coming. We're seeing all of the data from the VIX signaling a likely reversal setup, from the bullish divergence showing the strength was agreeing with that, from the starting of the breaking of this descending, basically the falling wedge here, showing a further reason why we might be getting a move. The extreme fear, flagging an absolute probable good time to buy. And then we also see that old coins, old hands, coins that have been accumulated, those people are no longer selling, suggesting that the strong hands are in charge here. The weak hands are only pretty much the dumb hands are the ones selling. And I don't want you to be a dumb hand. And so when we're looking at, is price action to go up? Is 85, is 90, is $100,000 Bitcoin high? Well, relative to what? It's relative to the US dollar valuation, which is being printed to infinity. So when we start seeing the fact that we've had 80% of all dollars that have ever been printed have been printed in the last 5 years. That's why when you look at your house is going up in value. Is it going up in value, or do you have to spend more money because your money is worth less? That's what people need to realize. The valuation of this nonsense is bullshit when you price it in US dollars because of how much money that they're printing. And Bitcoin is a capture mechanism of that because it has a fixed supply of 21 million. That's what we need to realize. And then we start realizing, oh, it's not that it's expensive. It's that I want to get out of the dollar as fast as possible so that I can do some smart things. This is similar. Michael Vanderpump here was talking about reaching 90K. We're kind of at that inflection point of, are we going to get that next real major move up? Because we just right now are knocking on the door. We're just, come on, knock on my door right here, knocking on this door of this previous range lows. And don't worry, everybody that's tuned in, we're going to look at a number of altcoins here in a moment as well. We have to make sure that we're paying attention to what's happening with Bitcoin so we're making smart decisions, because it's kind of giving us that great risk metric about what's going to happen with altcoins. So we looked at that. And guys, do you realize how strong the support of Bitcoin is brewing right now across our entire government here in the US, and how much of a barometer that's going to be for the rest of the world of what's happening? There are now 72 crypto-related ETFs awaiting SEC approval. 72. Gary Gensler's only been out a few months. We just got Paul Atkins in. We have a crypto-focused administration in terms of focusing on empowering versus putting their foot on the throat of the industry. And now we have 72 crypto-related ETFs awaiting approval from the SEC. This is massive in terms of the access point. Bitcoin and other altcoins are now going to have access for people that are not going to be actively in crypto, but they want crypto exposure through their pension funds, through their retirement funds, through their investment funds, and not go actively into the crypto market. They'll be getting exposure through ETFs, buying the exposure through the traditional stock market. This is what's going on. Nel Santiago, thanks for the consistent alpha, bro. Do you think 4-year cycles are over? Shout out. Thank you for the super chat. $5. Have a YouTube stream. You guys don't know how much that helps keep it going, and we have other staff members that we have to take care of, and so on and so forth. I think the 4-year cycles are broken somewhat. I think we're still going to be participating in. Let me actually pull this up real quick. Bitcoin strategy platform. When we're looking at this on the halving progress, this is where we're at in relationship to the halving. So this is the halving. This is how much time has passed, and it shows you what it looked like in previous cycles. Now, I don't see really this happening this cycle, the way we have this double top. I think we're going to have this cycle, but I think it's going to be a lot more extended, and I do think we're going to have pretty big spills along the way. I don't think we're going to have, this basically you have the halving, and you have from this point forward. And another way to look at this, if we look at this, for instance, let me look, halving cycle. Here we go. No, that's not what, is this what I want to see? Yeah. So this is us looking at various cycles. This is the third Bitcoin halving right here. This is the second Bitcoin halving. You see how I can turn on and off. This is showing what price action looked like at the halving and what the cycles did after the halving. You see, relatively, you have a zone here that is a relative low to where post-halving, you have this large impulse to the upside in price action. Of course, the earliest had the largest gain. This was back in 2013, right? Massive gain, but the market cap was also infinitesimally small. If we look at this in another way to look at it, at cycle bottom, measuring it from the bottom, you see how these cycles from the market cycle bottom to where we're at right now, we're kind of pretty much on pace. We had the deviation above here. Now we have a deviation below. If I had to guess, I think my projection is that we'll top somewhere this top, which again, these cycles are going to be different. I think we'll push somewhere in the 160 to 225, 225,000, which would put us right about right here, right in the median zone of where all the previous cycles have been. I don't think we're going to go all the way up here to $1 million on this cycle. But the point is, I don't think on the sell-off, what the bear market's going to be, I don't think we're going to get this massive, look at this 77% move to the downside. I think we're going to see something kind of like what we've been seeing. I think we talked about it yesterday with Kevin Svensson. I think we're going to be stair-stepping up like this. And in this case, we've been having these, this was about a 31% move to the downside. But not only was this 31%, what do you also see? The price action pulled back to the previous range high. So similarly, if we get a sort of a parabolic move, that's what's going to define how big the pullback is. If we have the price action move, really high up to 180, then I do think, and we don't have, big sell-offs from there. If this kind of goes like this into the zone, then we get a pretty big pullback. And what would that pullback look like? That pullback would be, even that up to 180 to come back and test a previous range high would be a 42% pullback. I see something like that because we have institutions, we have governments, we have corporations, we have ultra high net worth individuals, all just now coming to the table of realizing that Bitcoin is an imperative asset in your portfolio if you are actually planning for the future. And I think a lot of people are realizing that, and the race for Bitcoin is going to be on. And thus, I think we're going to have a lot stronger buying pressure on the ways to the downside at notable levels. In this case, if this were to push up to 180, coming back to test $110,000, that would be a 42% pullback would be massive. That'd be kind of like what you see in the stock market when you see some pullback. When you come back over here and look at Bitcoin versus S&P 500, and you realize, this move right here from 47.96 down to 36.14. What does that look like in price action? What was that sort of sell off? What did that represent? Let's go to the weekly. Let's look at this. This move right here. Look at that. That is about 27%. And this was, oh my God, this is such a big pullback. This feels detrimental. It's like a recession and we're having max pain and that's what I think we're going to start seeing these, that is going to be, oh my God, I can't believe we're getting this pullback. Now, Bitcoin's still a much smaller asset class than the S&P 500. So this being 30%, 27%, a 42% pullback might be something that would be in the cards that would be that max pain. But we have to be adaptable. This market is different. The layout is different. What's going on is different in these markets. Of course, as things in this market develop and the way that's accepted and utilized and implemented across the world's landscape is going to really be a determining factor about what is going on in this market. So we got to be a little bit patient here and allow the market to basically express what it needs to express. And we're going to take advantage of those expressions, AKA the shifts and trends along the way. And I'm going to be more vigilant about taking profits of my altcoins and rotating those profits at certain key points into Bitcoin and then also into stables. So I have capital on the side so I can take advantage of big swings in the market. Now, another one that we have to talk about, I signaled this about 4 or 5 days ago. BitTensor Tau has been absolutely ripping to the upside. If we look at this, this is massive AI ecosystem. Where did we buy? or where did I signal that I bought? You guys may or may not have. I bought right here, $232. I'm looking at the price to the right here on the pullback and the small bounce that started right here at the 382 Fibonacci pullback target. Boom. Right when we started getting that signal, boom, here. And this is up roughly about 50%. It pumped to about 50.51%. Right now it's up about 46%. That is on spot. That is not leverage. That's not margin. That's not options. That is, I bought it 1 for 1, right? And it is up 45% in 4 days. When you make smart decisions in this market, you don't need to always use leverage. Sometimes you can take an incredible decision that's looking at data, looking at key levels, looking at the context of the markets that surround that asset and make tremendous gains. And these gains have only just begun, everybody. And this is one of those reasons when we're looking what's going on with Tau, what do we see? BitTensor Tau has its first $100 million subnet just 9 weeks after DTau launch. Congrats, Shoots. Shoots is serverless AI providing instant on AI model hosting, DeepSeek, Mistral, etc. for 85% less cost than AWS. So this is one of those ecosystem plays because BitTensor is an ecosystem for AI development, whether you need AI developed or you are a developer. So it's hosting both sides of that ecosystem and has the Tau token as, I don't want to call it gas fee, but as that ecosystem currency. And it also only has 21 million tokens, just like Bitcoin. Now, I'm not sponsored by Tau. I try to find great assets, much like when we talk about Constellation DAG. I think one of the most undervalued altcoin out there. Chainlink is, I would say, the second most undervalued coin. And Chainlink already has an $8 billion market cap. BitTensor Tau, let's look at it real quick. Well, let's actually look at DAG first. You guys want to know a hidden gem? The hidden gem that I've talked about, so it shouldn't be so hidden to you. Constellation DAG. Right here, that has contracts with the Department of Defense, U.S. Air Force, U.S. Transcom, NASA, the Treasury. They are already having ongoing multi-year contracts with the U.S. government. And we're just now at that cusp with the new U.S. administration right now that are talking about how can we support, implement, utilize, and effectively cut costs in our government while making things more transparent. Blockchain is going to be that answer. Chainlink is already in there. Constellation DAG is already in there. And look at this. Is it undervalued? You tell me. $111 million market cap compared to some of these other coins. This is the most dramatically undervalued coin out there, and I can't wait to stack more of it. That's what I'm doing. I don't know what you're doing. Tau, BitTensor Tau. Let's look at this. This has got $2.94 billion market cap. And look at this, max supply, 21 million Tau. So that's pretty darn good. And this recently got listed on Coinbase as well. DAG is not yet listed on Coinbase. I expect at some point in the near future that'll happen because it is the most made in America coin out there. Then we got, so many different things going on in this ecosystem right now. It's just, ETH is finally breaking out. Ethereum. Now, does this mean it's going straight to the moon? No, we got to be a little cautious here. They're also now proposing a new change in what they're doing from EVN to risk V, which I do think will be beneficial. But the difference here between Ethereum and Bitcoin, there's a lot of differences, but Ethereum keeps changing the goalpost about what the hell it is they're doing. Now, on the one hand, if they didn't have this massive altcoin ecosystem that's built on top of it and the amount of TVL, total value lock, that they have with the decentralized finance ecosystem and how many L2s and how many, they have a massive portion of the crypto ecosystem built on ETH. That's what's really giving them a bullish hope about what's coming. We got $10 super chat from Alexandra G. How you doing? Thank you for always being such a great mod here and doing all the timestamps and everything you do. I appreciate you, Alexandra G. Multi-sig dummy says, yo, Kelly, DeFi crypto airdrops says DAG has no major listings. That should be bad, right? No, motherfucker. That means you're getting it before it's getting into those massive liquidity pools and getting basically massive publicity to all of those users when they get listed. That's the kind of things I like to find. As Dale Rodriguez says, woo woo. That's right. Now, let's see. Ethereum breaking out. This is actually starting to look good. It's been looking so damn bearish. It's breaking out of the zone. This is the area I'm watching right here. It's basically 18 to 1900, because this is where we had the price action kind of chug-a-lug struggle in here, and all of this bounce here, rejection. Like there's a lot of price action throughout this, and you see the bounce, you see the rejection, bounce. I mean, this is a very key level for ETH. $1,800 to $1,950 is going to be sort of the barometer. If this gets rejected, it's not the end of the world, but we want to watch for when Ethereum is able to break through this zone, whenever that is, and the retest actually being defended by the bulls here before we then tackle this next major area up here in the $2,500 zone. But it's starting to look good. But what does it look like against Bitcoin? Well, no breakout yet. We do have a little bit of a bounce here. And why would this be different? This is why you always want to look at the coins you're holding and how they relate to Bitcoin, right? The trading pairs, because at the end of the day, Bitcoin is the least risky of all crypto assets. It has the most money in it. It's the most stable. It's substantiated with 14 and 15 years of legacy now, longer than any other crypto. And it's a commodity, and it has ETFs, and it has so if you're holding other coins, there's no reason to take on that extra added risk of exploits, of hacks, of the team that is the developer team or company that is behind those having issues, like we just saw with Ohm, like we've saw with Luna, like we've seen with other just bridge hacks with altcoins, so on and so forth. You're taking on more risk. If you do that, how is that risk being weighed against Bitcoin? In this case, ETH is still falling in value against Bitcoin. When this chart, ETH to Bitcoin chart, starts to pump, then this means ETH is outpacing the gains that you would have held in Bitcoin. So yes, we see the ETH to Bitcoin, ETH to USD dollar chart breaking to the outside, but what you really want to see is this reversal also. That's going to be a key signal. We got XRP has held above this descending level of resistance. Support. Now it broke back through. Now it's support, but where is this at? All of these different assets we're looking at right now are on the cusp of actually having bullishness. We're seeing the start of the ingredients for bullishness, but much like we saw on Bitcoin, where is it at? Right back into this key zone that we're watching. Right back into this key zone that we're watching. The gateway. In fact, if this does get rejected, it's not over. But what's more important is breaking through this zone, having a retest and a continuation. Similarly, we're seeing on XRP, where yes, we broke out of this channel, but we have this horizontal channel here where this is a support, rejection. We're right on this cusp, which kind of looks like a little bit of an inverted head and shoulders. Just noticing this now. I'll go a little conservative on this, measuring this from this to the neckline. This is the neckline right here. This target would be up here about 275. Does that mean you throw all your caution to the wind? No. If you're holding this for a longer position, sure. If you're trading this, this is on the edge of glory right now. The RSI is rolling back over, angled to the upside. We've broken out of this trend line. We've tested this. Now we're at the neckline of the next move. And this is all within this very key zone on XRP. So I'd be keeping an eye on this because it looks like we could be getting a move on XRP very soon. Now, we look at Solana. Solana also very similarly. We got this nice pattern. I mean, it's not an inverted head and shoulders or anything like that, but it's a, kind of a strong V-shaped recovery. And the critical thing here is it's not just this V-shape. This is a price action we're watching right here with this support, rejection. We've kind of sliced through the zone, which is the start of something that could be very bullish. So I do think we're starting to see these bottoming structures. We want to watch on these pumps where the bulls defend. And this is ultimately where I'm really watching on Solana. If we zoom out on this, see this trend line here from back here, October 31st, Halloween, 2021, rejection. Look at this support. This is the critical zone that we're watching here on Solana. And it's quite a ways from here. So if you're looking for a lot of confidence, then I wouldn't say it'd be waiting for this because we're also near market cycle highs in terms of what we've seen on the price action so far. If you believe in soul and you feel like a lot of people do in this industry, that there's a lot of building happening here. There's a lot of different development and deliverables and implementation and integrations and blah, blah, blah to come, and ETFs and so on, then this may be a good time to be looking for some entry. But the reason why I point out this level, it's not like wait for here for a confirmation, is just note that there's a pretty strong likelihood that if this does come into this, that you're likely going to get a rejection to retest back into a level, or a rejection that it builds a bull flag or some structure. My point is, don't lose your shit if you get a little bit of a rejection at this zone. Pay attention to it. Maybe de-risk a little bit. Maybe take some of those profits, rotate them into either stables or something else. You have to determine that for yourself. But I do see we got Crypto Crank in the house. So I don't know what we would call a breakout. This is a relief rally with the S&P 500. I agree. I do believe that we do have, it's more of a relief. When we're looking at this, and by the way, you guys should go follow Crypto Crank. He's got some great info. He's a great trader as well. When we're looking at Solana, for instance, this is a breakout of a 4-hour downtrend, but in the grander context, we are still on a relief rally. This is why you need to zoom out and realize Bitcoin currently relief rally. The real breakout will be of basically taking out the 105 to 109K level and then really starting to run. Because there's still a little bit of PTSD about this nonsense we saw back here in 2021 and both times in May and October, November here. People are worried that we may get that move up like that and then continue to break down. I don't personally see that happening, but we need to be careful and cognizant of what we're seeing in these assets. Ondo, also on the cusp of this downtrend here. We're on the cusp of breaking out of this pattern, which again would potentially be a relief rally. And you kind of draw a fib like that, top to bottom. And look at this, the 382 is perfectly in line with this price action level that we have marked out here, perfectly in line with that. It's crazy how these areas of interest and price action also line up with where the fib area that you should be paying attention to will be. Now, looking at this isn't where I'm initially looking at. I'm looking at this zone right here. So on this potential breakout that we have, I'm watching directly above us, this dollar mark, right at the dollar, round number, also key level of rejection, support, that's actually a rejection, chop zone right in here, support until it's lost, and then rejection, right? So on the potential breakout of this, I know that there's a higher likelihood that this feels good, and then some people just ape in here like idiots. And that's not an idiot unless you ape in here and you sell when it does this. Because I expect this. I'm looking at this. As this breaks out into the zone, great. But watch for the retest of the known level right below it before continuing to the upside. Or if that doesn't happen, the push up into it that forms a bull structure like a bull flag that doesn't have the full pullback, because you can have that as well. And you wait for the breakout of the zone, the retest, and then go. You're allowing the market to dictate by a number of different signals and the regularity, the understanding of price action and how the market psychology works in what's going on right now. But I think there's bubbling interest, bubbling positivity that's happening. God dang, it's going to be great. And can't wait to go live with you. We are all in the thick of it. Yeah, Crypto Crank, let's get you. I'm going to DM me on Twitter or email me at kelly@bitlabacademy.com. And let's get you. I want to get you on the show. We got to get you in the massive super group that we're building with Discover Crypto, Blockchain Basement, BitLab Academy. So everybody's together there, which we're going to be rolling out here. It's taken some time because we had issues with Stripe and some other stuff, but we're going to be getting that rolled out. But guys, I love you. I appreciate you. You are going to be going over to the Blockchain Basement right after this. Show some love. Tell them the BitLab family's there. BitLab family loves the Blockchain Basement, but I appreciate each and every one of you. If you're watching on Rumble, make sure you're hitting that follow button. Make sure you're hitting that like button. If you're watching on X, if you're watching anywhere, come over to X. Come over to X. Right here. Hit that retweet. Hit that like button. And I just want to ask each and every one of you, when's the last time you have felt like this? Because it lights you up. It sets your skin on fire. Yeah, I just wanted to shout that out. But make sure you're hitting that retweet. If we get 40 by tomorrow, We will, there's 2,120 people watching on X. Guys, just hit that retweet button, hit the like button. You're entered to win $100 value. If we get over 40 by tomorrow when we start the stream, we will do a giveaway. But I love you guys. Look at this. Follow back. This person follows me. I know this is a fake account because look, wait, did I oh, I'm on the wrong account. That's why. Yeah, I'll follow it back. I'm on the Discover account. Boom. Yeah, let's follow some people. But I love you guys. I appreciate you. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day. Remember to just be true to yourself. Speak honestly with yourself about what areas you can improve in markets and trading and relationships. Figure out what you can be grateful today. Figure out what compliments you can give people, not for the sake of giving compliments. Force your mind to see signals. Force your mind to see things that you appreciate in other people and communicate those things. But I really do love you all. I appreciate you all so much. Shout out to our channel partners, LBank. We have a massive competition going on right now. If you sign up with the link directly below in the description below, if you're on X, in the description below, sorry, if you're on Rumble, in the description below. Also, if you're on YouTube, the link is, it's basically right here. Scroll down, hit this more. It's right here. I will share it actually in the live chat. Go sign up, trade with us there. There's up to $13,000 in bonuses that you can get if you go over there on LBank, sign up. It's also going to give you special access in our Discord for all kinds of different things that we're doing in there. But I mean, cash back on a number of different things there. And also make sure you're protecting yourself, protect your crypto, protect your future. Head over to getarculus.com. Again, that's getarculus, ARCULUS, getarculus.com. Use code BitLab10 for 10% off your best crypto cold storage solution out there. Getarculus.com. Shout out to our channel partners. Couldn't do it without you. We got some other partnerships brewing, and I got one partnership brewing that just lights me up inside. Yeah, you know it. But I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. That's all I got today, everybody. Adios, muchachos. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Thank you for always tuning in. Hit that like button, sucker.